Welcome to today's talk session. My name is Cedric Moss, and I am the host of Can We Talk. I'm an educator, motivator, and a talk connoisseur. In our session today, we will focus our attention on HIV testing and knowing your status in recognition of National HIV Testing Day, which is recognized on Sunday, June 27. My guest today, Denise Major, will help me dissect this topic. She's knowledgeable about this topic. And at this time, I will pass the virtual mic to her to have her introduce herself.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Major. I work in the Prevention Education Unit at the Bahamas National AIDS Program, and I also am the community outreach worker for that department. I've been working in the world of HIV for the past 10 years now. So I'm getting there. I'm almost to veteran status, but there's still a lot to learn along the way as things are always changing, constantly changing. And I'm happy to be here tonight.
Awesome. Great to have you here today. Awesome to have you here today and hearing you talk. I know that you definitely have a wealth of experience behind you. And so let's get into our first question. National HIV Testing Day is Sunday, June 27, and that's the day that is recognized. Why is National HIV Testing Day important, and what does this mean to you as an individual working in the health profession and having the qualifications that you have?
Okay, so this year, 2021, is the Bahamas's 13th year commemorating Regional Testing Day across the Caribbean. We didn't have it in 2020 because of the pandemic. So for this year, what normally happens during this time, we would take time out, go to the various communities, go to the different clinics, and stage testing events. So due to COVID and all the restrictions, we've moved off of Rosslyn Square and Pompey Square, where we're normally at, and we are at Bailey Park this year. We've been there for the entire month of June, every Friday in June. And tomorrow is the final Friday in preparation leading up to Regional Testing Day. So Regional Testing Day is hits pretty close to home for me. I have family members who are HIV positive. I have friends who are HIV positive. Um, and when I was younger, I had a interesting sexual history. So there's nothing I would say differentiating me from, well, there's nothing that would have stopped me or made me special from not being HIV positive today. So it hits home, and I take it very personal. I go out and I go in the community. It's very important for persons to be tested and knowing their status.
Denise, I want to thank you for mentioning that. I think some persons they're a bit, I don't know if they don't want to share. I think we
Hmm.
don't really talk about these things. We don't talk
Yes,
about sexual health and our sexual history is kind of something that's supposed to be shrouded in mystery. We don't really talk about it.
it's some
And
secret.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And for instance, let me give you an example. I sometimes I do my research, especially in this platform that I have. I do some research, and I was watching this young guy talking about how he would have caught HIV. He's a young gentleman, and he talked about the fact that he was in long-term relationships all his life. He's a young guy, and coming out of those relationships, he just wanted to be free.
Yeah,
And one time, just one time,
that's all it
he
takes.
had unprotected sex with someone that he just met, and he got HIV. After all those years of being so cautious and being protective of his health, he one slip up. And so that's why it's so important to talk about these things. And so I want to go into our next point in knowing your status. The campaign, the Know Your Status KYS campaign or program was first launched in 2005 at a private university in North Carolina. That's outside our scope, but this was a student-led initiative to increase access to HIV testing, according to Milligan et al. 2014. So why is this campaign important? Because I know we have our own component of the KYS program or the KYS campaign. So why is it important, and how does it help us to promote HIV testing as it pertains to HIV testing in the Bahamas?
Well, with the Know Your Status campaign, okay, with the Know Your Status campaign, it's self-explanatory. It's just important for everyone to know their HIV status. The objective of that initiative was to increase public participation in voluntary counseling and testing, and to rally people to be tested and to heighten public awareness and education on the importance of knowing their HIV status. We use the campaign to prevent the spread of HIV infections, to identify HIV infections and treatment, preventing the progression to AIDS, and just to identify members of key populations with the intent of reducing HIV um, contraction and transmission. So pretty much the importance of the campaign is to educate, promote, and normalize HIV testing as a routine health screen. We tell people all the time, as long as you're sexually active, you should be tested at least once a year, minimum.
Thank you for sharing that, Miss Major. I know for me, to me it was something. HIV testing was like this mysterious thing, but as I would have experienced it on the college campus, on the university campus, and seeing persons out there working, it made it more of something that is more relatable and something that is more normalized. Okay, it's normal to get tested,
Yeah,
rather than it being something that was shrouded in mystery. Oh, you're getting tested because you something wrong with you. You know what I mean? It makes it more,
exactly.
yeah. So I want to thank you for sharing that. And so, moving into our next point, what are your thoughts on HIV testing in the Bahamas? Do you think that we're doing a good job in reaching individuals and reaching our target group?
I think we're doing well. I'm biased. I'm quite biased, so I'm sorry. But I think we're doing an excellent job. But to be honest, more can be done. Testing is readily available, it's free of charge. Persons just have to want to come and do it. Yes, there may be issues with access in terms of not knowing where to go to get tested, but those situations are easily resolved. It's free of charge, and it's quick. It's a quick, easy process. So I feel as though at one point prior to COVID, we actually used to go into the communities. People did not have to come to us. Um, we're slowly getting back to that, as you can see with the launch of the Arm Bailey testing. So you'll be seeing a lot of us going into the communities to make it accessible for individuals who may not be able to get to their nearest clinic or to their personal doctor, or even down to our reference lab, which is located on Shirley Street. So we are going into the communities to accommodate persons who may be finding it difficult to get tested.
Ms. Major, thank you for sharing that. First and foremost, you mentioned two important things, two key points. First and foremost, it's free. You don't have to pay any money out of your pocket to get tested. Secondly, time the time aspect of it, in that maybe in the past it would have taken you longer to get the result, to first do the testing and then get the results back, but it's almost like it's instant. And so I want to thank you for sharing those aspects of it as well. And when we look at information, can you share information about the centers to help individuals who want to take advantage of HIV testing and AIDS testing? I know you said there's work being done. You've moved from Rawson Square and you're now more in the center by Iron Bailey Park. So you want to talk about any other centers?
Well, as it relates to regional testing day, in the past it took place on Rawson Square and Pompey Square. So for this outreach, we are located on Bailey Park for this regional testing. But for those who aren't able to make it out to Bailey Park, they can come down to our National Reference Lab, which is located on Shirley Street, next to Zion Baptist Church. And the dates for that are Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 8 a.m. to 1:45 p.m. They can also go to our HIV center, which is located in the old Colina building on Rosetta Street. So those two locations are somewhat central locations where persons can come out and get tested. And then we do appointments also. So they can always call us and make an appointment to come at a time that's convenient for them to be tested. And then, of course, like I said, we have our community initiatives where we partner with organizations like Urban Renewal and go into the community to arrange for testing for persons in the community. All HIV testing is free. The doctor's visits are free. Medication as it relates to HIV, free of charge.
Awesome, awesome. And when it comes to individuals, who do you recommend? Which individuals would you recommend? I know it sounds like a simple question, but who would you recommend to take advantage of AIDS and HIV testing?
It's HIV testing. As long as you're sexually active, you should be tested once a year. If you have multiple partners, you should be tested multiple times a year. That's every 3 to 6 months. So I say everyone who's sexually active should be tested for HIV. When you're changing relationships, if you're starting a new relationship, you and your new partner should come on down and get tested. When you're ending a relationship, get tested. Like it's across the board for everyone. As long as you're sexually active, come and get tested.
That's very interesting because first I was hearing you say once a year, but now there's go ahead.
Okay,
I want you to
so
highlight. I want you to highlight that. Go repeat that, please.
okay, so when we say risky behaviors, right, we talk about persons who are engaging in men who have sex with men, persons who have multiple partners, who exchange sex for money, transactional sex, as well as like I said, persons who have multiple partners. So if I and I'm not using protection. So if you're in a relationship and you're not using protection, you should be tested often. And like we said, it's 3 to 6 months, depending on your risk. So now, if you are in a relationship where both partners are monogamous, the testing should be done once a year or could be done once a year, right? If you change relationships, at the end of that relationship, prior to the start of the new relationship, you and that new partner can come down and get tested. If you are a person with multiple partners, you cannot swear for what those people are doing. So that's why we say get tested every 3 to 6 months.
Wow, that's powerful because I hear you say, you as simple as you may think it is, you come out of one relationship and you go into the next one. As simple as that may
Mhm.
seem, you need to go get tested, right?
Yeah. And it's for the comfort level of both partners. So you may not be open to completely discussing your complete sexual history. Okay, so let's not go into details, but at the very least, let's go and get tested together so we know that both of us are going into this relationship with no issues or concerns. We're going into it healthy.
Awesome. So let's talk about awareness. Is there anything that you would want the public to know about HIV testing that you believe may not be readily shared? Something that persons should know that you think they may not know?
Again, it's free of charge. It's a quick and simple process. It's just a simple finger prick. A lot of people, I think, feel that they're getting a lot of blood drawn, and that may be that may be a barrier for them to getting tested. It's a simple
That's a
little.
good point you raised because someone told me they were scared of needles. Is it a needle?
It's a lancet. It's a lancet. So it's a finger prick, one little finger prick. I tease women all the time. We have period cramp pains that are more painful than that lancet stick, okay? It's a lancet stick, less than 2 minutes. You get your little prick, the blood is squeezed out, and you get your results back 15 to 30 minutes after that prick. And the results are completely confidential, completely 100% confidential.
Awesome. I know some persons are very fearful. That's the thing with
Yeah.
some persons. They're
Mhm.
very, very fearful of needles. But it's just, you said it's just a little tiny
One
little
little finger
prick,
prick.
one little prick.
Yes.
So any additional comments? Is there anything else that you want to share or anything else you would like to talk about?
I mean, definitely come out and get tested. Getting tested is so important. Knowing our status is so important. The importance of knowing your status is that you can get, if you are HIV positive, you can get on treatment right away. That lengthens your life. It's important to know your status so that you can prevent getting HIV. It's just important to know. A lot of people are fearful. Um, a lot of people say, well, hey, what I don't know won't hurt me. That's a common thing that we hear. We hear men say, if my partner go and get tested, then she good, I or they good. I don't have to go and get tested. It's important for everyone to know their own personal HIV status. Like I said, if you're HIV infected, you can start treatment immediately. You can, and that would help prolong your life. If you're infected, you can take all the precautions to prevent the spread of HIV to others. Why would you want to spread the disease? And then if you're not infected, you can learn how to protect yourself from HIV in the future. People come out there terrified, like mothers, but like I know I do some stuff in my past. Okay, we will counsel you. We provide you with information on how to protect yourself from HIV in the future.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. I didn't know you guys also provide counseling as well.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Prior to getting the test, okay, so let me explain the process for tomorrow. Um, you would come, you would receive pre-test counseling. During that time, they would explain what is HIV and the experience, the procedure, and everything that's going to happen. You will sign your form giving us consent to do the test. You would then move on to registration, where we would check the form, make sure we have all the information, and then after that, you will move on to the actual testing. At the testing, like I said, it's just a finger prick. We will draw the blood and you'll get your results back 15 to 30 minutes from the prick. So during that 15 to 30 minute wait, we have counselors out there to answer your questions. We'll have people out there doing condom demonstrations. We'll have nurses out there. You can wait in your car. You can go over by the mall and come back. And it's important that you come back for your results. Like I said, it's confidential. We will not be giving your results to anybody else. If you miss it, if you do not make it back when we're there, you would have to bring an ID to the center to get your results. So we can't call you with the results. We can't give it to anyone on your behalf. These results are strictly and totally just for you.
Awesome. And you mentioned, and I want to ask you about, because you talked about the service before we end the session. I want to
Mhm.
ask you about any other services that are attached to it, because I know you said you talked about counseling services. But another key point that I wanted to highlight that you mentioned is, if you find yourself in that situation, you talk about medications being free. They're
Yeah,
free.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're free of charge.
Wow. Okay.
Medications are free of charge. Testing is free. The doctor visits are free. Everything is free of charge.
And are there any other services attached? You talk about counseling. Are there any service that you offer the persons?
Well,
I
in
mean,
addition to the counseling, the testing, we have our STI center, our sexual transmitted infections unit, that is also available at our center, but that's a conversation for a different day. But we have that unit. Like I said, we have the counseling, we have the pharmacy, and yeah, pretty much just the testing. So those are some of the services that we offer. And then we also distribute condoms and lubricants, male and female condoms, as well as lubricants. My department, which I said is prevention, we we would come out, we would do the safe sex talks, we would do the HIV prevention talks, the HIV 101 talks, for schools, for community, for churches, to anyone who needs assistance or who would like to have that talk for a small grouping. And we do
Oh,
those virtually as
awesome.
well as face to face.
So you also are available for persons if you want them to talk to like a youth group. You
Yeah,
also make it okay.
we do all of that. We do
Awesome.
all of that.
Awesome. So you make yourself available for that.
Yes. Yes, we
Uh,
have our whole prevention unit and team, Mrs. Paula Boleg and Mr. Keith Camp, along with myself. When we aren't available, we also utilize our nurses in the unit also. So someone will always be available to assist in that regard.
awesome. And the last thing I want to ask you was about the STI. You said STI unit.
Yes,
So if you suspect that you may have an STI, there is a unit available for you to do your testing, even
yes,
if
that
you're
I don't have like the specific information for that department, but if they're interested in getting tested for any sexual transmitted infections, the number for that area is 604-9037 or 38. So all of that falls under the National AIDS Program, but that's a separate unit from HIV.
and is there a page that you can share for
Yes, on Facebook as well as Instagram, the page handle is Bahamas National AIDS Program. And that's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I think. Definitely Facebook and Instagram, Bahamas National AIDS Program.
Denise Major? I want to thank you for joining us today and talking about HIV Testing Day. And we definitely need to continue this conversation, especially about we talk about the STIs. This is definitely a conversation that needs to be had. I want to thank you for being candid and also sharing how easy it is.
Yeah.
I think people think it's hard.
They think they're immune. They think it can't happen to them. It can happen to anyone. HIV can happen to anyone. STDs can happen to anyone. All it takes is one sexual experience. It can happen to anyone.
Denise, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you
And
for
your
having me.
department. Yeah. Friday. You're gonna be out there Friday. You didn't talk about that.
We are going to be on Arm Bailey Park. We get started at 8 a.m. and we're going to be there until 4 p.m. So like I said, you can come in, even if you have to come in before work, get your prick and come back lunchtime. Just come back for your results. The process in general is going to take about 30 to 35 minutes because and it depends on the crowd also. You have to fill out your form, get your prick, you can leave and come back, or you can choose to wait. But it's a quick process and you get your results right away. Right away.
Thank you for sharing with us today. I want to thank our viewers for listening in. Like our page, Can We Talk? We're Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Miss Major, I would definitely like to welcome you back to have us further dissect this topic. So be ready, okay?
Most definitely. You have me. You have
Uh,
me.
Awesome, awesome. And let us know what you want to talk about. Like this video, comment under this video. If you have a question for Denise when she comes back, we can talk about it. And let us know what you want to talk about, want us to talk about. From a regional, we look at things from regional, local, and international perspectives. So comment under our videos. We love to hear from you. And thank you. And again, thank you, Miss Major, for joining us today. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.